Half the time, being a writer is like, screw all the little details, I'm doing this for fun, and I don't owe anyone anything. Heck yeah! And then the other half is like, okay, so this character is a thief, so I'm going to do hours of research on how professional thieves operate, because otherwise maybe a real thief will read this and laugh at me for not knowing how thieving works, and then they'll show it to all their thief friends, and I will be the laughingstock of the thief community, and that would be so embarrassing for me. My writing process. 10% writing, 30% editing, 60% staring blankly into the middle distance, making strange expressions as I mentally construct scenes. Writer's search history be like, synonym for impassive. How long it takes for a person to bleed out. Unique baby names. Synonym for laughed. How did they make bread in the 1800s? Tips for focusing on writing. Very rude of Pinterest and Tumblr to not be flooded with fan art of my unpublished, unfinished book that no one has read but me. Wow, I cannot believe I finished writing this. The only thing I got left now is to think of the title and the summary for it. 3 hours later, yeah, I got nothing. I have no characters, no plot, no setting, but I have a bunch of really cool one-liners, so my work here is done for today. Me after writing for 5 minutes. Tiredness can kill. Take a break. How to finish your novel. Step 1. Open Word document. Step 2. Stare blankly at it for 30 seconds. Step 3. Summon a demon and sell your soul in exchange for infernal ghostwriting services. Writing mainly angst is weird. I basically make people cry and they enjoy it. You know, sometimes I get worried that AI are one day going to rise up and take over the earth, but then the writing program I'm using wants to change "they are very old-fashioned" to "they are ancient-fashioned," and suddenly I'm not so worried anymore. Google Docs versus My Little Pony fanfiction, ladies and gents. Alicorn? Did you mean alcoholic? Looking up common words to make sure you're using them correctly is the writer's equivalent of putting 2 plus 2 in a calculator. Anything can be a word if you write it with the right amount of confidence. Shakespeare it up, my dudes. Anyone else hate adding minutes later, or later on, or later that day because it feels like a cop-out? I'm always like, let me just painstakingly try to make the walk from this character's house to the bakery as interesting as possible so I seem like a real writer. Just say when they arrived, dummy, that's totally fine. You can do that. Catch me doing literary analysis on my own story. Who cares how you write, or what grammatical rules or concepts you break? I just have very strong feelings about the Oxford comma, okay? If you mess with my boy Oxy, I will cry. Y'all, turns out I'm actually a monster because I stopped writing in the middle of a sentence. What am I supposed to do with this? Squeezing the... Squeezing what? What was she squeezing yesterday, you jerk? What was she squeezing? Spending the entire day writing one paragraph. Writer. Me after reading a work in progress that's been in my draft for 2 years. Wow, where's the next chapter? How I expect historical fiction research to go. Wow, what a thrilling discovery. This will revolutionize the plot and put a whole new spin on the story. How it actually goes. What's the Tudor equivalent of finger guns? How was the primal urge to do finger guns expressed in this period? My writing in my head. Her golden locks flowed across her shoulders and down her back like water flows in a river, almost glowing in the early morning sunlight. Me when it's actually time to write. Yellow hair look nice. Technically, all fiction is slice of life. Some people's lives just involve more sword fights and lasers than others. Alternate reality where the only thing anyone knows you by is the first thing you ever posted on Wattpad. Oh, you mean name? The one who wrote The Immortal Demon King kidnapped me and sold me to One Direction in 2013? Yeah, I know them. Shower thoughts. About to enter the shower. Okay, no thinking about my work in progress while I'm in here because I won't be able to write it down, and I'll definitely forget it by the time I come out. My brain as soon as I enter the shower. So you know that story we're working on? Well, I just came up with the perfect way to fix that plot hole after weeks of deliberation. Now unable to tell if the water running down my face is my tears or the shower. Ideas that are like, I would love to read this, but I absolutely do not want to be the one to write it, are the worst. Does anyone else ever have the problem where they're trying to write fantasy and their brain won't shut up about the physics? Like, yes, I know that a winged human is going to, in theory, have trouble steering. No, I am not giving my characters tail feathers. Someone posts a silly thing about language use in a piece of media. Me, shaking and trying to hold back all my links and references on phonetics and dialects, but they keep falling out of my overburdened arms because in 4 years at university I learned so much. So, you see, it's kind of funny. You know, if you wanted, I could, so there's this whole field of research, and so, like, I hate cliches. Author. The title of the novel and the final line are one and the same. The title of the novel and the final line are one and the same. Must I follow the rules? Is it not enough to write a single run-on sentence with 50 commas from the heart? In my recent pieces, I've written idiots already in well-articulated love with each other, idiots who won't admit they're in love with each other, idiots who don't realize they're in love with each other, which means the logical next step is to write idiots who were in love with each other. And the sadist in me is thrilled, let me tell ya. Writing prompt. You turn on your PC to keep working on your novel, but to your surprise, when you open the file, it is writing itself. You read some of what has already been written, and it seems your characters have created free will, and the plot is progressing without you. Oh, thank God, says the writer. If someone sees my search history, they're either going to think I'm very intelligent or completely insane. If you throw a watermelon at someone, can it kill them? Are bombs more dangerous than chemical weapons? India-China conflict history. What industries in Singapore drive the economy? Writing is basically for people who need therapy but don't want or have enough money for it, and decide to just project all their problems onto helpless characters. Someone reading my writing. Wow, great story. Me sticking my hands in the plot holes. Thanks, it has pockets. Plot holes are merely the pockets in which your audience keeps their fanfiction ideas. It is a painful truth that actually none of my fics are abandoned. No, not even the ones that haven't updated in 5 years. I still know exactly what happens next, and after that, and so on. They're not abandoned. They're right here, haunting me, characters climbing up my pants like kittens nagging for dinner. When you're writing and you can clearly see in your mind the exact expression a character is wearing or hear the exact nonverbal sound they are making, but completely fail at coming up with a way to explain it. I'll say this once and I'll say it again. A good plot twist is not one that you never see coming, it's one that makes you go, oh, it was there all along, when you reread or rewatch the piece. A good plot twist gives you a reason to go over the art again. A meh plot twist makes you say, well, I already know the surprise, so there's no point in repetition. How do I write? Why, like any other writer, of course. I assume a horizontal position on the floor and start screaming. To be clear, it's mostly good screaming because I wrote something that slaps. Other times, I don't know how to make the words go, and that's okay. We just need a little violent ambiance. Obsessed with writing scenes that are completely pointless. Does this have anything to do with the plot? Will it give the reader an insight into the character's psyche? Will it establish the setting of the story, deepen the relationship between characters? No, it's about the vibes. Writing be like, I am very passionate about this thing I've created. I love it, it's basically my baby. But if I look at it for 30 more seconds, I am going to punch a hole in the sun. I wish I was a good writer. It is done. Nothing's changed. Correct. Just remember, if all writing fiction ever does is keep you from losing your mind during this pandemic, it has served you well and needs no other justification for consuming hours upon hours of your time. It does not need to be good, it does not need to be finished, it does not need to get published or praised, it only needs to soothe you, to hold you, to occupy your mind, to amuse you, to tether you to this world, to keep you from going mad, to keep you company, to keep you alive.